Hey, what's up everyone? I know it's been a minute since I made a video, but I'm excited to bring you guys this video to show you this big project I've been working on for this past year. Began this project a few months ago. Planned it early last year. I always had it in the back burner, and I was like, you know what, this year I decided to get the ball rolling and start on this project. You know, I had all the pieces in play though. I just needed to, get to it. And as you can see, it's this X-Force team. It's this X-Force team, which is a team that I've always wanted to make. I know Hasbro recently started giving you guys most of these characters in different uniforms. You know, these uniforms are based off of their second version, like their second outfits, and at X-Force Run. You know, Hasbro's releasing their first outfits. I decided to go with a Greg Capullo designs. Oh, he was the main artist during that run, during their this version of them. And it was just, I decided to go with that version. They were more colorful. I kind of felt like they were more iconic. These were some of the designs that most of us remember growing up, you know. If you grew up in the 90s, of course. But let me get into each character, each custom, and kind of go like a brief overview of what I used, what base figures I used, what I did, and etc. You know. Let me first of all, let me start off with Shatter Star. Shatter Star was the first X-Force character Hasbro gave you guys, you know, or gave us, which I went for I went for this version though, which I always found him more interesting. This version, it was like red. It kind of has this samurai, I don't know, has like the samurai look to him or something. But I started off here with the Bucky Cap mold, which a lot of people don't like, but I actually like this mold. When it's plain and doesn't have anything on it, of course it kind of seems a little bit boring, but as you can see, I sculpted this mofo up. I sculpted this guy up. I used the original Shatter Star's knives as saved me time, and I didn't have to make these out of scratch, you know. But I painted them up with a kind of red metallic paint. I did the same thing for his gauntlets, which all of this is sculpted. His boots are sculpted. These knee armor guards, I don't know what they are. These are sculpted too. These bands here are sculpted too. Yeah, this is fodder, of course. I used this from just my fodder box. The shoulder pads are sculpted. I made his ponytail removable so that articulated pops in perfectly, so you can pose this ponytail. Yeah, sculpted the buckle, painted that symbol there. Painted his egg symbol in there too. I sculpted this bandana too around his neck. Sculpted the headgear too. Whose head did I use? I think I might have used the translucent Vision's head, which actually worked out nice for him. There you go. I went with of course, this outfit is white, has blue. Did a little bit of blue airbrushing. Same thing for this blue design in here. I actually like the way he came out. And he's posable. Just gotta be careful with these with his knee guards. I mean, of course, if you put too much pressure, they can probably snap, but you can still pose them. Just be careful, pose them, move them around. Pose this ponytail, blowing in the wind. Then put them on this base. Let me go to the next person, to the next custom. Let me bring you guys Boom Boom, or Boomer, as she goes by in this version of her. Boomer. There you go, painted that up. It's a bitch though, but still did it though. Shit, the camera. Boomer, I began with a Hellcat figure. With a Hellcat figure, and her shoulders are sculpted her hair, her glasses. Gave her this removable bubble gum. All these little straps, pouches, they were all fodder. But all this rest of the stuff is sculpted. Her gauntlets are sculpted. Her boot cuffs are sculpted. Hand painted all of this. Yeah, she was, I mean, the hardest part was this design here. This make everything fit in there, you know, make everything in scale, make all the letters in scale with each other, proportion to each other. And you kind of have to plan this out just so that it goes like with the articulation, you know, of the figure. So I kind of like spaced them out so where the no letter fell in between these two joints, you know. So the E's right there, the M's right there. Also made some power effects for her using hot glue. Using hot glue and gravity. Painted them up first with like a translucent yellow, then went in there with a translucent red, and did a little bit of dry brushing, washes on there actually, not dry brushing, some washes, and that's what I got. Let me see, these attach to fingers. I know Hasbro recently released their version of Boom Boom, which was of course her first outfit from X-Force. Oh, this her collar is sculpted too. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, it's just, this is all layers, man. You have to like work in layers, sculpt one layer, sand it down, sculpt the next layer like this band here, sand that down. Have to sculpt first I anchored a piece of plastic for the shoulders. I anchored a piece of plastic onto the body, and then I sculpted over this piece of plastic, you know, sand it down, smooth it out, then sculpted these next layers right here. So the shoulder pads are on there really nice. Everything's on there really nice. Gave her actually double jointed elbows too. I forgot to mention that. A bicep swivel too. Had like some old Toy Biz female figures. So I used the elbow joint. Just modified the original Hellcat arm. Did some sanding. Some reshaping. To be able to add that joint on there. Of course, I sculpted over it to hide the pegos. Yeah, so that's Boom Boom. I always loved this version of her. She was fun to make too. Challenging, but it was fun though. Challenging because you have to be symmetrical with with the sculpting, you know, with the placement of the pouches. So everything has to be symmetrical. So it becomes challenging, you know. Let me go to the next figure. The next figure we got here is Pharaoh, which Hasbro has yet to release her, and I'm sure they will though. But I did a different version of Pharaoh, of course, her second outfit. She was kind of running around with, I think they made the Liberation Front for a bit, I think. You know, fighting both sides, fighting with them, fighting with X-Force. But of course, she joined the team. So here I started off again with, for all the females, I used Hellcat. I don't know, I just like that body. It kind of gives you a little bit of more articulation. Of course, you have to trim some of the areas though. You have to trim the hips, because if you don't, the way they designed it, the hips touch like the torso here, so you wouldn't have enough room to move stuff around. So I, you know, shave it down a bit, sand it down, give it some room. Also did the same thing with her. I gave her double jointed elbows, bicep swivel, and I did some sculpting, man. I did some sculpting of fur around her legs, her arms. Then did some dry brushing to give the illusion of fur to here on her chest. Try to go for a smoother finish on her outfit. Sculpted this white trim. Yeah, and her face, everybody's been asking me where I got her face. It's these pieces I've used before to make. I've made 2 Wolfsbanes before, and a cheetah figure too, actually. No, a tiger. And I used these pieces to make those customs. I grabbed a DCUC cheetah figure, and I used her face. Of course, you have to modify it, Dremel it down, Dremel the pegos so that it fits on these bodies, and of course I sculpted her hair. Used some Procreate for these tips right here, so they're bendable. Her little, what the fuck is this called? Her bangs right here, whatever. Procreate too, so that they don't break. Sculpted the shoulder, her shoulder pads, whatever the fuck they are. To has articulation though. I gave her these double jointed elbows so that she has, and I also gave her more room in her torso, so she has like a better posability. Of course, she needs it. As you can see, not a lot of Marvel Legends figures can do this, but this is a Marvel Legends body. It's there. You just need they just need to adjust some things, and you all can get this articulation. Come on. How awesome is this pose? She's able to do this. Look, she's also able to look up. Of course, her hair design helps her look up, but Hasbro can figure it out too, you know? I did it. They can do it too. Second, they're second. We're already in the 4th one. Let's go to the next one. This dude got a good reception for him. A lot of people liked him, which is of course a character everybody wants, and Hasbro should make this guy. But it's Warpath in this iconic suit. Everybody knows this suit. I wanted to make this suit, and this is mainly the main reason why I had to go with this version, because of this outfit, you know. This isn't the outfit he's wearing when with the version of X-Force that Hasbro's giving you. He wasn't wearing this outfit, but this is the outfit I wanted, where he has these I don't know, these straps hanging off. Of course, it's a bird, you know. But this guy's big, man. As you can see, I began with the tightest body, tightest bath, just the body, which is the same thing as the Space Venom, but it's a different design. You know, it's a little more smoother. I didn't have to. There wasn't a lot of things I had to resculpt. Of course, I resculpted his neck, because that Build-A-Figure has like this weird collar around there, so I had to Dremel that shit down. He has no what are the triceps? No, not triceps. What the fuck are they called? This muscle. Oh man, I blanked out. Well, he doesn't have this muscle on that figure because he has that collar around his neck, so I had to shave that down. I had to resculpt these up. I used Space Venom's arms and legs, and this head is from Colossus, from that the Colossus from the Warlock wave. He comes with two heads, the bearded head and then the regular head. I used his regular head. I thought it had a great facial expression for Warpath, so used that and sculpted it up. Sculpted the hair. I used some Procreate, of course. Helps with it not breaking, you know. It's more durable or more bendy, whatever. Did his little soul pouch, whatever this is called, where he keeps a little magic. Sculpted that little pouch and just got this. I forget where I got this from, but it worked perfectly for him. It's a little bit stretchy, so it won't tear. So yeah, all of this was sculpted. These were straps from some fodder cape from Spawn. Glued them on there, sculpted it up so that they kind of anchored down in there with the sculpt. Sculpted his boots. This is all Ace epoxy. I had to figure out like a design for this, because sometimes putting straps like this here, it looks weird to me, you know. So I kind of had to figure out a design for it, kind of like horsehair. It kind of looks like horsehair, or not fur. This is like long strands of hair, or whatever. So I thought that lent well for the design. Sculpted his bracelets, all in layers, man. Sculpted the first layer on there, sanded it down, then went in with the second layer of this little design here, this X and these diamond shaped designs, whatever, that go all over around his wrist. Sculpted these armbands too. Yeah, and made him some big ass knives to go along with those big ass hands. Reshaped Space Venom's hands. So yeah, big boy here. See how he compares though to Juggernaut. A quick little comparison. His stand juggernaut in one of these bases. Damn, that's a good scale, man. That's a good scale. So as you can see, that's Jug, and this is like the tightest Space Venom body, which I think is perfect for Warpath. It'd be awesome if Hasbro goes this route, but we'll see. Hopefully they don't use like the Omega Red body, which is nice, but I feel like it ain't as tall as it should be though. So let me I'll put Warpath back in there. Kind of using these stands, since I'm moving them, I don't want them to tip over and drop everything in front of them. Let's go to the next one now, to this Domino, which I know Hasbro released a Domino, but it was more of the modern X-Force Domino. So I made this Domino. I also made a gun for her. Of course, you guys have seen this gun before. It's one of the guns that they use a lot for cable and stuff, but I modified it. It comes apart, so she has this clip falls off too. And of course, for her, I used a Hellcat body again. I didn't go for the double jointed elbows here, but she still has good pulsability. Yeah, so I made her this gun. So it detaches and it becomes two guns, which I thought was pretty cool. As you can see, I think this is the outfit that everybody wants though, unless of course they want that first version of her, which is white, gray. I think, it's not as colorful, I guess, just white and gray. But as you can see here, this is a Domino I made. What did I use? I used Scarlet Witch's headband and just sculpted over it. Sculpted her hair. I forgot whose hair was this. I used a hair from my father Ben, and I sculpted over it. I used some Procreate to sculpt these bands, to sculpt these strands, so that they don't break. Just all shit that if it was with Ace Epoxy, I used to sculpt all of this with Ace Epoxy, but if it fucking tipped over and hit the ground really hard, all this shit would have been chipped down. I was like, fuck, So that kind of messed with my design a lot. I wouldn't be able to make all these crazy strands just free flowing like that. There's just no way I would have been able to do that with Ace Epoxy. So Procreate has been a really good benefit for that. And for other objects, for other things that they wouldn't hold up if it was with Ace Epoxy. With Ace Epoxy, yeah. But right here, let me get into this figure. Did the same technique as I did with Shatter Star over there. I got a piece of plastic, anchored it down into the body, resculpted over it, sculpted these pauldrons or the shoulder armors, whatever they are, shoulder guards. So I had a lot of fodder, man. Used fodder for these straps here, for the belt too. A bunch of pieces to make this belt. I had seen a bunch of Jin Ursos at different stores for $5, so I had a few just sitting in my fodder bin to see what I could use them for, and I was able to use her gun holsters for it. Her gun holster. So I thought that was cool, I used actually I just used one, and this is actually a Marvel Legends gun holster, which I modified with a little strap to keep the gun in there so it doesn't fall. Same side over here, same thing over here. Look. I used Rogue's boot cuffs, whatever these are. There's these neat boot cuffs. Went with that dark, with this darkish kind of satin blue, and this pro metallic, you know, color on her straps. Her forearm guards too. I think I got those from Polaris. Jean Grey has the same ones too. I might have used Jean Grey's, like an old Jean Grey that I had there for fodder. There you go. She's actually up on eBay. So is Pharaoh. So you guys can look up Pharaoh, Custom Marvel Legends Pharaoh, or Domino Custom Marvel Legends, and you'll find them up on eBay. They have like 2 days left. Yeah, so this is the Domino. Let me put the gun back together and pose her with it. So as you can see, just snaps back. There you go, look. So kind of makes the gun more interesting than just the usual just one color molded in that fucking either dark green silver or just that regular plain silver. Kind of gonna include this sniper with her too. She's appeared with a sniper in many comics. Cable. Up next is this Cable, which is probably the one that I had to do the most work on. As you can see, all this detail, all this sculpting, all this fodder I used too. Let me use one of these stands for him. Yeah, so for him, I began with a Hyperion body, which many figures have that body mold, you know. But here's a Cable. Started off with try this to with a Hyperion body. Sculpted up the boots, anchored a piece of plastic onto the legs, sculpted up his knee pads right there. So all this is sculpted. His feet too are sculpted. These feet came from the Marvel Select Cable. I used a lot of pieces from Marvel Select Cable. As I'll go along, I'll tell you what. Like this knife, Marvel Select Cable. Modified the handle a bit so that it doesn't interfere with this gun holster here, which these gun holsters came from the Marvel Select Cable too. Painted up the guns, and they were like a kind of like a white silver. So painted, got like some gunmetal, some copper gold kind of. Used this gun too. Yeah, these where are these from? Yeah, these were from that Cable too. All these pouches were from that Cable too. Chopped up that Cable and made this belt. This is sculpted. These little grenade things, ammo, whatever. This is all fodder. Yeah, these pouches too were fodder. This came from the Marvel Select Cable. I used an old Toy Biz Bishop gun holster back here. This is another one of these guns that is usually paired up with that gun that Domino has, but kind of made it into a shotgun. Kind of resembled the shotgun that he had in the comic, so use that. Yeah, and this is all sculpted, same technique as I did with Domino and Shatter Star over there, and Boom Boom too. Anchored a piece of plastic on the body, sculpted over it, sanded it down, did the layer all layered thing, you know, sculpted all that shit down, sanded it down. All this is sculpted too. This collar came from the Marvel Select Figure 2. These little cylinder things came from that cable too. He used cable arms too, sculpted the gloves. Used these hands too from a cable. All this shit too was from the cable. Sculpted all of these. So, sculpted this, sculpted that. Sculpted the little strap here, anchored these down into the arm, sculpted over it to hold them in place. Same thing to this side. And for the head here, I used a Thor head from from like the Marvel Now Thor. Took off his, I think he had a helmet. Sculpted the hair. You can also see his eye. That scarring that he has on his eye. Made his telecommunication, whatever the fuck it's called, his headgear. Did a second head sculpt for him too. He's over here. Kind of wanted one with without the beard and a mean expression. For this head, I actually used an Omega